Hello my ducks, how are we doing? Hope everybody's having a great week so far. Just a relatively quick video, and I'm mindful I always say that and then take ages. But I just wanted to come on and show you the difference between the Moon Baby Tarots. This is the first edition, and I've just received this week the second edition. And why did I back it? I guess I backed it for two reasons. One, I wanted a backup. I really liked the difference in terms of the edging and things like that. The card designs haven't really changed. So I wanted a backup, but also, you know, Brant, who is the person behind Moon Baby, is a friend, and I wanted to support him. We don't see him much these days in the tarot community, but he is somebody that I class as a friend and always will. So the deck, as you can see, is by Brant Palazzo. So the first thing I noticed was the difference in the box. I'm not sure how to best show it, but there is a thickness difference. So my concern was, has the cardstock been, not compromised, that's not the right word, but you know, is it a thinner cardstock? Is there change to the cardstock, which we'll have a look at? But obviously the colour changes, so we're still using the same 70s font, but we've gone from a kind of green box to an orange box, and then there's changes to the font and the design. So where there's orange here, it's green there, and obviously where there's green here, there's orange there. Yeah, but everything else, it says here 2021 first edition, and on this one 2022 second edition. On the sides, it's exactly the same. Cards that tell people about themselves and their future, which is taken from the original Hoi Polloi tarot deck, which I'm fortunate enough to have a copy of, from 1973. That looks a little bit bigger. It's you know, it's minor stuff. The backs are the same, so you get the same font, or same text, I should say. And then it talks about deck was recolored and formatted by Brant Palazzo, and it mentions Jason Peterman, who was the artist behind the Hoi Polloi. Okay, so the boxes are pretty much the same. They're both two-part. When we look, and they are brilliant boxes, really, really good. When we look at the insides, there is a difference here. So this one actually looks like a card, and it says Moon Baby Tarot, first edition 2021. This one is limited second edition 2022. We've got these kind of psychedelic flower pattern. I really like this, actually. I think this is a huge improvement. Well, huge improvement. It's an improvement. Everything in terms of the inside design. So we get the suits here. So we've got the wands, the pentacles, obviously different colours. Oh, we're getting a lot of sun now. Swords and cups. Let me make sure you can still see everything okay without lots of shadows being cast. Perhaps if I bring this light down a little bit. Then we have the guidebook. I really love this guidebook. This guidebook is actually a fold out, but you can actually just turn the pages like a book. So as you can see here, how to use the deck, the major arcana, and then we go into the wands. You flip it over and you do the same on that side. Pentacles, swords, cups, and then a daily draw. Wow, that's really bright sun, just all of a sudden burst through the window. So we've kept that theme for the second edition. As you can see, everything is the same with the exception of some colour changes. So as you can see, limited first edition, limited second edition, and then it can change to the font. Everything else is the same. Okay, so that's the little books. Let's put them inside the lid. And the extra little bits you get in this one, it says Moon Baby first edition, and it's a numbering. So mine was 89 of 1,000, signed by Brant. Second edition, it's a different card. So this has the key, which is on the back, which is the inside of that box design as well. This one is like, almost like a business card, Moon Baby Tarot, second edition. So it's thicker as well, whereas this is quite bendy. And this one is limited 212 of 1,000, and again, signed by Brent. And then there's a little thank you in this one that I just got. Thanks for your support, Moon Baby Tarot. Okay, so I'll take the cards out. The difference in the base design is in the, I'll just bring it up because I'm not sure what you can see with the shadows actually. Okay, I brought the camera down a bit just so you can see it a bit better. I'm struggling because it's the evening setting sun, so it's not fab. But as you can see in this one, we've got the what you get on the back of the cards, which is much lighter on the second edition. And this one, we've got that psychedelic flowery pattern again. So different designs on the insides, but everything else is pretty much the same. I keep my first edition in this beautiful Kelly pouch, which I love. It's got all the colour. Interestingly, now we've got orange. This has an orange ribbon, which is perfect match. So I could actually use this pouch for either first or second. We've got the lovely pink colours, we've got orange, and we've got the kind of green. Oh, it's almost like a duck egg blue really than green. And this deck has, I just realised it's not going to be in order, so I'm going to have to pause the video to put the cards in order anyway, to do a side by side. But this deck has, and it's quite subtle actually, it's a pink, but it's a very powdery baby pink, whereas the second edition has this lime green, which I am loving. I am really loving this. Do you see the difference? I want to have a look at cardstock. Looking at this, I think they're the same, so I'm not sure why the box is a little bit shorter, because yeah, they're exactly the same. And cardstock is just as wonderful as the first edition. Is there any difference? Oh, I never know if it's a trick. That does feel a little bit thicker, but they're the same, so it can't be. It can't be. It's just the way it seems. The backs are slightly different. So as you can see on the first edition, we've got, it's more in keeping with the box. It's like this duck egg blue, where it's very pale on the backs of the second edition, almost just like a hue. But the key is the same, only it's been enlarged slightly, and you can tell that by how much space at the top, so slightly larger. Yeah, because it's closer to the bottom here than there, and it's closer to the top than there, so slightly enlarged key. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause and just put this in order, and we'll have a close-up look at the cards. Okay, so they're back in order. And it's not until you actually look at it side by side that you can actually see that there are noticeable differences. We'll start with the font. I mean, it's still the same font type, but it's smaller in the second edition. This is the second edition with the, I love these edges, can I just say? I mean, I love the subtlety of the pink, but there's something about these green edges I adore. Cardstock is the same, and it's that gorgeous, buttery, smooth matte. It's really good quality. If every deck came in this cardstock, I'd be a happy person. Okay, so, and then the background colour is paler, like it is on the backs of the cards, really. And then there's subtle differences like the tones, and it could just be the printing, the way it's printed, or, you know, it's a deliberate adjustment. I'm not sure, we'd have to, you know, find out from Brent. But you can see the green on the ground here, on the cliff, is very different to the green here. It's more of a lime green on this one. But everything else, the dog is slightly different colour change. And the skin tone is a little bit more natural on the second edition. And that's, you know, basically the same. See here, the font is the same size for the Magician. Not quite sure why it's changed to be smaller for the Fool, because I can't see any differences there on that one. Oops. It's a little bit lighter on here. I mean, it's hardly noticeable. So, you know, if you can no longer get the first edition, you're not missing out on anything really. It's slight colour changes, as you can see here on the garment. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure. I mean, that's a more natural skin colour tone. I'm not quite sure why the font was a different size just for the Fool. It doesn't seem to be anywhere else. Oh no. So on the first edition, you get 2 strengths and 2 justice. So you can, if you're following RWS, then strength comes in at 8 with justice at 11. Decks before that tended to have, well, I say tended, they did have justice at 8 and strength at 11. It was a change through the Golden Dawn with Arthur Edward Waite. But for some reason, the hoi polloi used the old system. So what Brant did was to give you a choice. And it doesn't seem to put the cards in the... Let me check the backs. I bet they're at the back. Yes, they are. So again, you can have strength. Where have I put it? I'm going to get these mixed up. That's pink, that's why that goes there. So you can have strength as number 8. Okay, or you can have, oh, look at the colour difference there in the green and the orange in the background. So it's more saturated in the second edition. Or you can have justice as 8. See, some cards, there's more of a difference. So with the colours here, that's more blue and that's green. Whereas other cards, it's not so noticeable. Perhaps the Sphinx at the top there, perhaps the only. And then we can have Justice as 11, which is how I would have it. Or we've got the additional strength. So there's 2 strengths, 2 justice cards. Okay, so I'm just going to flip through these quite quickly. Hopefully there's not too many shadows on this. It's such a beautiful deck. He did such a good job with this. Of recreating this deck. Again, skies. So I think the green, as a generalization really, the grassy greens are more lime green in the second edition, and then the blues of the skies seem to be more green in the second edition. but it is subtle, really subtle for 90% of the deck. Okay, so do I need to go through them all? I think we've got the basic idea, but it could be the first time somebody is even noticing this deck. So I'll just insert music and you can have a look at these gorgeous images. Let me make sure they're not in the shade. Notice the changes here. This is probably one of the cards where it's most noticeable. Mainly because there's a lot of green. Okay, so there we have it. Both decks equally as gorgeous, as beautiful. I think the only, as I say, the differences with the cards is the edging. You know, it's a dramatic change, but one that I think is done well. What I would say is there's hardly any differences with the pinks in this deck, or the oranges really. The oranges just seem a little bit richer in the second edition. And if something's blue in the first edition, it seems to be more greeny blue in the second. And if there's something green in the first, then it's more of a lime green, more of a vibrant green in the second edition. But it's subtle. It's subtle when it comes to the images. The card is, you know, the images on the cards. Okay, so thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts below if you've got the first deck or, sorry, the first edition or the second edition. Or you, like me, you might have both, and whether you've noticed any differences or not, or if you're thinking of buying it. So do let me know. Information will be in the description below. Sorry about this sun. It's hard to, this time of day, it's really strange to get it just right. But thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.